Hey folks, Motorized Pride coming at you. Welcome to episode 2 of How Can I Play That? A series that's devoted towards learning about accessibility, some tools and some tricks. Today we're going to do part 2 of our series for Elden Ring. Today we're going to take a peek at some in-game setup features, as well as a few more complex commands that do some attacks and some actions. So, without further ado, let's get to it. So I just wanted to go over some menu commands and some general game setup that might make your accessible play a little easier. And then we'll do a couple of other macros. Let's take a look at our settings and see some features that maybe we can set up that make our gameplay a little easier. So let's call up our menu, exit. Now you'll see my cursor here on the screen in the middle. Something to reduce the amount of moving I have to do with my finger. This is pretty specific to me, maybe for others as well. But I wrote a macro that moves the mouse a certain distance, just so I don't have to do so much scrolling. So you hear me say sometimes, mouse left. Right, and then you see it jump over, mouse up, mouse down. So I predetermined, I think it's 500 pixels that I have it set to move, but that just saves me some scrolling. So let's open up our system. Alright, so auto lock targets is on. I like that, it saves it, especially if I'm really just wailing a bunch of low level mobs. Then, just switching to targets right away is a lot easier. I have controller vibration to 0. Obviously I'm using it in my mouth. I don't really want it vibrating on my lips or teeth, but again, that's just a personal preference. So camera, pretty straightforward. I have camera speed set to max, and again, that helps me with limited motion. I don't have to scroll over as far. Auto rotation on, of course, makes it easier when you're just walking around. So here in the sound and display settings, most of these are just preference. Adjust brightness, if you have a visual impairment, that might come in handy if you want to make things lower. Device for on-screen prompts, I have it set for keyboard and mouse. That's my primary thing. Even though I use the joystick, or the controller joystick, I should say. My prompts are set for keyboard and mouse. And then volume again, depending if you have a hearing impairment, you may want to adjust the volume. So obviously if you were using a controller, you would be able to come in here and map your buttons. Very important, every video game on the planet should have, user-defined key mapping and controller mapping if they choose, obviously defaults. We're seeing more and more of that in game design. Unfortunately, not everyone is caught up yet. But yeah, that should be a mandatory. So here we have key bindings. Again, these are specific to me. They're things that I found useful. You'll see that I have numbers assigned to all of my item actions, all my weapon actions. And that's actually just carryover from other video games, just like playing World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy or anything where weapon. I always have 2 for some reason with Dragon. I think 2 because it's very distinct sounding. So I would just say press 2 if I was using Dragon. So that's that. So that is a quick look at the in-game settings. Now there are no accessibility features. Specifically, a lot of games now have some. So let's go back and take a look at some strike commands. So you'll see that we're here in Limgrave. We're just by the Church of Ella, which is sort of the home base. You can scroll around, see various things. So let's take a look at some moves now. This is not the character that was in the previous video. The reason being I just wanted to have some more dynamic, some more weapons to choose from and whatnot. This is actually my second character, the one that I'm currently building up for DLC release. And I'm using the dual wield Reduvias. So let's just review. If we want to do a single right-handed attack, we say strike. If I wanted to do a left-handed, Now, typically this would be for a mage's staff, so I don't really have anything for the left hand. In Elden Ring, it's pretty common to use a staff or a seal to cast spells. This character, I actually don't really have much. I haven't really gone that route. I've just been sort of using the daggers. But if I did have something in my left hand, the word that I programmed to use it was cast. So I'll just show you quickly. Cast. And that actually is the left-handed, and because I'm dual wielding, it does that sort of combo. You know, rapid fire or attacking quickly is very important. A lot of beasts can be stunned and they just can't attack back. So you really need to hit them with a barrage. With the dual wield Reduvias, I had to adjust the timing. I'll show you in a second what that looks like. But when I want to do a super attack, let's say, my dagger combo, I simply say daggers. So you see there's the 1, 2, 3 and then a double final strike. So that comes in really handy when you want to have multiple attacks. So let me pull up VoiceAttack and show you what that looks like. Alright, so we have it here. So let's find daggers, it's right here. And open that up. And it's pretty simple. So we press the 3 key, which is my left-handed weapon, and with the dual wield, pressing your left hand does a double attack. So we do the double attack, we pause for 0.8 seconds, and then we do another double attack. This 0.8 seconds is very important. I whittled that down. I probably was like 1, and then I did 0.5, and I just found that perfect balance. So I just wanted to show you those commands with this character. Now we're going to switch over to the main character that I have, just because he has a lot more weapons, a lot more versatility. Alright, so we're back now. This is my main character. You can see he's the strangest mage. He's OP. He's got goat armor on, which is heavy armor, but he has a staff. So I already showed you strike, which in this case, because we have a staff equipped, we'll do our spell. So let's switch our spell, and the command I have to switch magic is simply magic. You can see that it switched over, and let's do it. Strike. Right? Which is Adula's Moonblade. So if we have a seal in our left hand, and we're going to cast Golden Vow. Cast. Right? No problems. So we can see here, I've switched over to my Moonlight Greatsword. And what I want to show you is just some of the differences with just using a sword. So we still have our single-handed attack, strike. Something that's neat, again, this command or macro is something that I would have never been able to do without VoiceAttack. And that's just simply holding my sword with 2 hands. So I wrote a macro, 2-hand. And now you can see we're 2-handing it. Strike. Right? And now if I want to change my weapon, equipment. I just want to show you while we're in here, I wrote some sort of bag navigation tools. They're not perfect, but they help. So if I want to move down 1, I can say bag down, bag up, bag right. If I wanted to go down a lot, I could say scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Right? And you can see that it brings us down an entire page. We need to find our staff, scroll down. So obviously inventory management is also an important part of accessibility and movement if you don't want to be going down a whole lot. Believe it or not, I already have gotten rid of a lot of weapons But yeah, these are still the ones I have for some reason, even though I'll never use half of them. And just as I was saying earlier, similar to using the equipment command, if I say inventory, right, it brings up my inventory. Then again, I just wanted to show you one more thing in equipment. If I have something and I just want to take it off, I just say ditch that, and it gets rid of it. These are all mapped to the keys that I have chosen. The final thing I want to show you is map. So in your map, there's a few things that you can do that are actually really tricky sometimes. So I actually, again, previously, when I was just using Dragon, I had no way to zoom in and out because I didn't have a middle mouse button. And for some reason, zooming in and out of the map is not a function they allow you to keybind or to map the way you want. So I wrote, of course, a macro that does 3 clicks on the mouse wheel. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom in. Right, so that was something I could never do before. If I want to drop a marker, execute. Right, or if I want to remove it, execute. The one final thing, again, just some step reduction. So if I wanted to switch to a different grace, go there. And it does a double execute. It travels me to where I want to go. Map. Go there. Very exciting when you have 2 sites of grace. Not very far to go. Alright folks, well there you have it. A little bit deeper look at some of the commands that we use when we're fighting, as well as some of the in-game features that will help us set up for success in our game. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, and don't forget to watch me on Twitch at Motorized Pariah. Looking forward to episode 3, part 3 of our Elden Ring series, where we're going to take a real deep dive into some nested and stacked commands and some more complex macros. Alright, until next time, take care.